What's up guys, Curtis here and welcome to a brand new FIFA 10, FIFA 20 kind of video. We've been doing some stuff looking back at some retro games and this one I think will be a lot of fun. I have built a team of about 19 players from FIFA 10 who were seen as Wonderkids. I'm going to talk you through their potential, I'm going to talk you through their normal card and then we're going to look at obviously how they've ended up in FIFA 20. Some disappointed, some have absolutely smashed it out of the park. I think this should be good fun. If you guys have enjoying the kind of renaissance of Curtis Morton, the gamer can, returning to the channel, then please do give us a like and comment down below if you're enjoying these sorts of videos. It's something a bit different and hopefully will keep you entertained. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to jump straight in with our first player. I'll put the bench in straight away so you can see. So, Robert Zieler. So, Zieler is obviously a really interesting one. He started off at Manchester United. He had potential of 83 in FIFA 10. In the career mode, he had a potential of 83. He had a really interesting career. Obviously started off at Manchester United, but yeah, later played for Leicester for a season as a backup goalie. He played for Hanover, for Stuttgart. He's now back at Hanover, returning there. He's played 6 games for the German national team. Like, this guy's been around. He's played some games. So, really interesting one, and he has a potential of 83. Next up, we have David Ospina. Now, David Ospina, he had a potential of 83. His card was 79. The potentials were a bit weird then. He was still like a Wonderkid. I think he was 19 or 20 at the time. He obviously plays for Napoli now. He went there permanently last summer after being on loan from Arsenal. Prior to that, he played for Nice for 6 years before that as well. So he's been around the block. I think you could say he's probably lived up to the potential. He's been Colombia. He's got 104 caps for Colombia. I've just checked there. 104 caps. That is ridiculous. Next up, we have Danny Drinkwater. Now, Danny Drinkwater at the time was a 59 rated bronze card at Huddersfield. Now, Daniel Noel Drinkwater, he had a potential of 81, which would have been an increase of 22. I think you can say he lived up to that. I think if you reassessed his potential in the summer of 2017, you may have said actually that potential was even greater because he was obviously brilliant in that Leicester title winning side. This card here was when he was on loan at Huddersfield. He was owned by Manchester United. He went on loan to Huddersfield, Cardiff, Watford, Barnsley before joining Leicester. Then obviously in the summer of 2017, or was it in January? No, it must have been the summer. I'm pretty sure it was the summer. He went to Chelsea for a large fee and was disappointed. He went to Burnley. He's now at Villa and yeah, it's not gone too well. So I guess to an extent he probably hit the 81 levels of potential from 59, but the wider situation, maybe you would have expected him to do even better than what he did. Then we have Shkodran Mustafi. Shkodran Mustafi, his potential was 83. He's currently a 79 rated card. I don't want to talk about Mustafi for too long because it just makes me a bit sad about Arsenal. So we're going to move on to the next one. We're going to go to Morgan Schneiderlin. Now, Morgan Schneiderlin, this is interesting. He's a 77 rated card in game. He had a potential of 82, as we can obviously see. But I do think that it's one of those ones where actually I think he didn't live up to potential because when he got his move to Manchester United, he'd been excellent for Southampton. We all thought this guy was going to be really decent, go on to do some really exciting things, and he really struggled at United. He wasn't very good. He got his move to Everton, and he's fallen off a little bit. So he's reached the heights in that he's gone from 61 up to like a low 80, but yeah, he's probably not got to the level we would have liked him to. Next up, we have Adam Lallana. Now, Adam Lallana, his potential was 82. He was 64 rated in FIFA 10. He has gone up considerably from his 64. Again, another one, 82. He did reach his potential, but unfortunately injuries have pulled him back a bit. So he's had some tough times with that. But undeniably an excellent talent. Definitely someone that's fair to say FIFA probably got the potential right because he was a great player. But sadly, injuries were a bit of a shame. Then we have Mesut Ozil, who was 76 rated with a potential of 88. Now, we have seen him hit 88 before. We know he can do it. We know he's an excellent player. Obviously, he's a little bit past his peak now. But back in his prime, he was absolutely exceptional and definitely one that EA got right. Then we have John Bostock. Now, John Bostock was 73 rated with a potential of 87. That's a big potential, 87. That is high. He did not reach those heights whatsoever. He left Tottenham that season, and I think when you'd say never looked back, that would probably mean he went on to do better things. But he probably spent his entire career looking back, wishing he could go back to that point. But nevertheless, he did not. Then we've got, this takes a lot longer with the new squad system than it used to do this, but we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. So in goal, we have Kasper Schmeichel. You know the guy, the man. The man needs no introduction, really. He's exceptional. He has a card that these menus make this so long. He has a card that is 73 rated back in FIFA 10, but he had a potential of 83. So it's fair to say he's surpassed that potential. His card, his base card's around that sort of number. He's smashed it year after year. He's won the Premier League. He's been excellent. 73 rated to start with. He is definitely, you would say, he's definitely smashed that one out of the park. Next up, we have Marilyn Pianist. Marilyn Pianist had a potential of very, very impressive 88 for FIFA 10. And he has, I'd say he's come close to basically nailing that. He's been unbelievable. He's been a stalwart for Juventus over the past few years, and obviously was great in the Bundesliga before that. He's an excellent player. I really like him, and he's been brilliant. 87 rated now. Fair play to the lad. Next up, we have Harvard Nordveit. Now, I'm probably going to get his name wrong here. I can't remember if it is just H-A-V. I might be... No, I'm right. There we go. Harvard Nordveit. So Harvard Nordveit, obviously, as you may remember, started his career at Arsenal Football Club. Didn't start, but he went there when he was a young player. Now, Nordveit had a potential of 84. He had a fantastic time for Borussia Mönchengladbach. He got into Team of the Season for them. Had a great time there, but I think... I don't know if you'd say he reached the 84 levels of potential. Probably not, but he did well, and he's had a great career. You can definitely, you definitely have to agree. He's obviously now just plying his trade in the Bundesliga in general, but yeah, he's a good player, and he's moved himself around a bit. He went to West Ham for a little while. He's played in a few different positions as well. He's played centre back, centre mid. A few different positions. But anyway, next up, we have Mamadou Sakho. Now, Mamadou Sakho was at PSG during FIFA 10. He had a potential rating of 88. Mamadou Sakho's a fascinating one. He is someone who absolutely killed it at international level from a really young age. He played like amazing, in amazing under-21 teams for France. He got French call-ups quite early. He's an excellent, excellent player. But he obviously went to Liverpool. He was decent, but he was almost like a bit of a meme. It was a strange one. He was never really kind of what you'd hoped he would be. And obviously, after being at Liverpool, he went on loan to Crystal Palace and then went to Crystal Palace permanently thereafter. But I think 88 potential, he's not lived up to that level of player, but he's definitely been fantastic, and he's definitely, he's been key in the Premier League for a few years now. Next up, we have Gareth Bale. He, at FIFA 10, was a left back, a 76 rated left back with a potential of just 83. Now, I believe FIFA 10 was the season that he kind of blew up onto the scene. In fact, I'm going to double check that. Was FIFA 10 the season that that he had the game against Inter Milan? I'm just going to search Inter. That was the 2010-11 season. So yeah, that would have been that season, maybe the season before. Anyway, doesn't matter. Gareth Bale was an 83 rated with, 76 rated with 83 potential. He's now, he's definitely surpassed his potential by a comfortable distance. He has been absolutely excellent. I love Gareth Bale. I think he's genuinely brilliant, and bit of a shame he's had the injuries, and a bit of a shame that he's had the kind of experience that he has had at Real Madrid that, is a little bit sad and a little bit sour. Anyway, next up we have Jack Wilshere. Jack Wilshere was obviously very hotly tipped back in 2010. He was a 21-year-old, and he had a card that was 73 rated with a potential, the second highest in this episode, of 90. This may be the season before he was on the cover of FIFA. FIFA 12, Jack Wilshere was on the cover. So that, FIFA 12, Jack Wilshere was on the cover a couple of years before, but 90 rated. They obviously liked him. He has definitely not hit his hype. He's a player that all Arsenal fans will tell you in the early 2010s, he was incredibly exciting, but injuries and attitude problems, he just didn't quite make it. He was so technically gifted, but it just didn't happen, and it's a shame, but it is what it is. He's now at West Ham, and he's not even really getting any game time there. He had an injury earlier on in the season, and it's a bit of a sad one. But anyway, next up, we have a player that I think there will be no doubts about this one as to whether or not he's made it. Just as we'll click on his 99 rated Team of the Season card. That should probably prove it. We had Kevin De Bruyne, who in FIFA 10 was rated 64 with a potential of 84. He has, I believe, a base card of 90, or is it 88? One of the two. Whatever it is. I think it would be hard to argue that he is hard to argue against the fact that he is the best midfielder in the Premier League at the minute, and almost unquestionably top 3 midfielders in the world. You could make an argument for him to be number 1. He is absolutely sensational. His passing range is unreal. He can score a goal and a half. He's absolutely brilliant, and he definitely surpassed that 84 potential that he had. Next up, we have a player that I think he's an interesting one because he has won everything and he has been an absolute stalwart. And I think, you know, he's got an 88 rated card here, and I find really fascinatingly he had a 90 potential. I don't remember when he was young him being hyped up to the 90 potential level. I must have just passed me by, but when he was 23 years of age, he was at Bayer Leverkusen with a 72 rated card, and yeah, had a 90 potential at this point. Wow, he's gone on to obviously do incredible things. He's been an unbelievable player, and there is no doubt that that 90 potential was justified, and he is the sort of player that absolutely deserves that. I think it's great to see like how these players were rated 10 years ago and just how close they've come to actually hitting that mark. Next up, we have Sofiane Feghouli. Sofiane Feghouli is he probably would split opinions again as well. Sofiane Feghouli had a potential of 86 back in FIFA 10. I'll click on him so you can see his card in full. He's now an 80 rated midfielder. He's obviously improved. Back then he was a French card rather than Algerian. I assume, he played for France under 21s. He was decent at Valencia. He was never a prolific goal scorer, but he was a good winger. You know, you'd never complain about him. Obviously, he went to West Ham for that season, and now he's playing for Galatasaray. I think 86, he's not reached that level. He's made a great footballing career. 62 games for Algeria is very, very impressive, but he is not quite the levels of 86 rated, in my opinion. Next up, we're going to go on to a striker that has had... he's one that will show in a FIFA 10 to 20 kind of full video where you see their full career, instead of just looking at the potentials of some Wonderkids. So this is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and he has had a genuinely really interesting career. So Pierre was a 72 rated striker back in FIFA 10. He had a potential of 84. Now he's obviously beaten that potential. He has his current card is 88, I think, or 87. Excuse me. He's absolutely excellent. But his career started off at AC Milan after going through tons of different academy teams. Went to Dijon on loan, Lille, Monaco, Saint Etienne, who then bought him and had him there for 2 years. Whilst he was at Saint Etienne, he played the majority of his time on the right wing, as he did kind of at Monaco as well. Monaco and Lille as well. So he was a winger. But then, in his second full season at Saint Etienne, they moved him centrally and he started banging in the goals. He was a goal machine. He really found the back of the net. Obviously went on to Dortmund, where he was excellent. Now he's been at Arsenal. He's got 49 league goals in 75 games, 63 appearances for Gabon. He's played a lot of his time at Arsenal actually out on the left, obviously with Lacazette taking that central striker berth. Some people think that Aubameyang should be prioritised for that position, but he's scoring goals and it is what it is. It almost seems trivial discussing it given the current situation. He may never play for Arsenal again, who knows. But yes, Aubameyang absolutely hits that 84 potential, and genuinely I'm a big fan of him, and I love that we've had the chance to have him at Arsenal, and obviously I hope that he stays for the foreseeable future. But our last player in this episode is Eden Azad. Now he was 78 rated back in this FIFA. He had a potential of 91 all those years ago, 10 years ago when he was at Lille. He obviously got into the team of the season at Lille. He played it in the attacking mid position, and he then went on to Chelsea. When he went on to Chelsea, he's obviously had an excellent few years, and finally had that move that he's always been talking about, and the media have been talking about for the last 4 or 5 years. He got that move to Real Madrid. I think some fans will say he's been a bit disappointed in Real Madrid. I've obviously not watched enough Real Madrid football to be able to comment, but just based on seeing his numbers alone, I would agree. But obviously I don't I don't have the big picture that I would have done compared to when he was at Chelsea, and I'd see almost every game he would play. He was excellent at Chelsea. Even as an Arsenal fan, I've got to say, he's missed from the Premier League. He was so much fun to watch. But 91 was his potential. I'd say he's hit it. He's been excellent. He's had a wonderful career. He's won some lovely silverware. But that, guys, I think brings us to the end of this episode. If you've enjoyed it, please leave a like. I'd be curious to see what you all think about about these Wonderkids and about these current videos that I'm doing to try and spruce up your day a little bit. Leave a like if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if it's your first time watching. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you all next time. Bye, guys.